God bless all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Guild. Once again, to remind us that our focus this year is on the media, and is themed Media, People, and COVID-19, how to create sustainability in the digital era. There has always been a challenge in the media in the last decade. The transition from analog to digital platforms, the invasion of the media space by technology, for good, no doubt. But how do we leverage this technology to make our ventures profitable? How do we leverage the technology to make our job easier, simpler? I recall that in those days in journalism, especially in the print journalism where I have always been, it was purely analog. There was no computer. The best of technology we had in the 80s was the compographic machine, very big and bogus machine. And you know, in those days, the typewriter was still there in the newsroom. But these days, with your phone, with your laptop, with your iPad, any handheld, everybody has become a publisher. This has thrown a challenge to us. How do we sieve the wheat from the chaff? And these people that are the chaff actually have been giving us bad names, bad image. We now live in the era where fake news has become a very big subject of discourse. We live in an environment where advert earnings and revenues are shrinking. How do we increase viewership and readership? How do we capture? What value do we show or throw out to the market, to our niches, to our markets, to the audiences? All of these, the doctor we have in the house today will help us navigate through. So my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite our keynoter to the microphone, Mr. Taiwo Obe, fellow Nigerian Guild of Editors. You're welcome, sir. Your show now, sir.
I thought I saw Kabiru Yusuf somewhere. And is the chairman, can he? Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we had because it's all Zoom and it's all technical and it's all virtual. I understand our chairman has been able to connect effectively now. So I will invite our chairman, Alhaji Kabiru Yusuf, once a reporter. He has been everything, a multiple award winner, award of excellence for patriotism, for productivity, and somebody that we hold in very high esteem in Nigerian journalism. He's now a media entrepreneur and is succeeding at it. He has always succeeded at everything he has laid his hand upon. Mr. Chairman, I respectfully invite you to give us your own remark, which will be a guide, a compass for us, your children. Ladies and gentlemen, Alhaji Kabiru Yusuf, the chairman of the occasion, and a fellow of the Guild.
Okay, I thought I saw him.
We will keep, our chairman is trying to reconnect. I hope he does that as early as possible. The chairman of the occasion, Malam Kabiru Yusuf, sir. If you are on, you can raise your hand. There is an icon there. Technical, have you been able to locate him? Have you been able to locate him? Yeah, we will continue. You know, this is the first time we are doing this, and of course, even among technical people, I've attended a lot of them, Zoom meetings. We still run into turbulence. We still run into glitches, even among technical people, even among engineers and computer scientists when they are doing their own show. One of those things that we have to adapt to. So I will still invite Mr. Taiwo Obe, the founder, CEO of the Journalism Clinic and fellow of the Guild, to make his keynote.
It's morning, right? Good morning, those of you here, and good morning to the rest of the world. Thank you so much for the invitation to be with you and to make this presentation. I am hoping that after by 1 or so when we finish, the face of journalism in Nigeria will change. Before I go on, when the national anthem was on, someone placed his hand on the... I would like to see a story in any of your media tomorrow. What does it mean? Have you seen it anywhere? What does it, why? Why do I place my hand? Or maybe on your, let's play. Let's just do it. I've called my paper Survival of the Fittest, as in F-E-A-T-E-S-T. So survival of the fittest. So that gives you a pointer to where we are going. We are going to have fits. That is, but it is the person with the fittest that will stay on. Thank you for showing that. Well, the way it is now, I'm not in control of this thing, so if you see me doing my hand, is that I'm pointing at somebody, which is not what I like to do, but let's go. So we want to get some shit done here, and what I'm going to do for the next hour or so or less is to challenge, to provoke Nigerian editors, or to rethink their roles. I am challenging you to rethink, your roles so that you can be relevant with the demands of the time, digitalization, COVID-19, and all of those things you have said here before, so that you remain in business, so that you are sustainable. I believe I have captured all of the theme in that box. I want you to rethink your role, and because we are in a different era, and because there is pandemic, which we don't know when it's going to end, and so, as they say it in Google, I want us to begin to question everything. The challenge I'm putting before you is that you have to challenge everything from now. And they say it in Google is, why do this, they are engineers. Engineers continually ask questions. They continually ask why. Why does this have to be the way it is? Why has the masthead of my newspaper remained as is from 1820? Why can't we tweak it a little? Why is my title called X. So today, I am challenging you to let us fuck with the magic. As they say it in Google, let's mess with the magic. So as editors, what we do now is we assign reporters to go and cover. They bring it back. I was asking somebody here just now, why do you still tell your reporters to come back to the office? And he said, well, it's lifestyle. Lifestyle in COVID-19. Why? Why do you still tell a reporter to come back to the office after he has sent a story? He still has to come back. I know that a lot of us have WhatsApp groups for our reporters. Yet, we still want them to come back to the office. You like to see their faces. It is nonsense. It's rubbish. So, put that down somewhere as something that you begin to question, to fuck with the magic. So, we assign reporters, go to Lugbe, and something has happened, or the reporter goes by himself. He sends the story, we review it, we rewrite it, we copy fit it. We process words, more words, daily, weekly, monthly, depending on the frequency of your medium. That is what we do now. That's why we call ourselves editors. So let's watch the video that, there's a video. Let's, can the technical people show the video, please? Of your medium. That is what we do now.
My name is
That's why we
Manuela,
call
and I be
ourselves
actor.
editors.
So I show you how I be for my mama.
So let's watch the video that.
Good grammar
I
and
decided to
spelling
be
are
my
important.
Video. Let's,
But if you want to write essays that inspire, messages that forge brighter connections, and emails that get the job done, you need to think about more than just grammar and spelling. This sentence is grammatically correct, but
let's
wordy and hard to read. It undermines the writer's message, grammar and word choice is important. But if you want to write essays that technology helps you craft compelling messages that forge brighter connections, that makes an impact on your reader, that get the job done. You think about more than just grammar and spelling. This sentence is grammatically correct,
So let's
but wordy and hard to read.
And I be actor. Come on, show you how I be for my mama. I decided to build my parents this house because say I won't be buying my papa another car. So Okuma can't remind me say I been promise my mama house. So ma no use that money buy car. Ma save am so that I go use build this house. So I can't contact my manager to help me split the money what they get into 4 parts. One goes to the orphanage, one for the building, one for my family, and one for my savings.
I hand over the keys.
My mama will not know say I dey build this house for her. She don't know. Now when I come hand over the keys to her and my papa, my mama comes smile. I love that smile when my mama give me. I don't go ever forget that smile.
Congratulations again.
We start to build this house December 2019. So it almost took us 1 year to finish this house. I feel so happy for fulfilling the promise. What I don't promise my mama. She even deserves an estate. But I know be Dangote. Mommy, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for all the prayers you don't put me through. You are the best mom. My mama is a very religious woman, and I love her for that. This no be the only surprise though, where I won't give my family.
You didn't stop it.
Still get other plans for my papa and my mama.
You need to stop it. Okay. Go back to the presentation. Presentation. The presentation. Okay. All right. Welcome back after the timeout. You will get this presentation. So let us just follow my. That young lady that you have just seen, Emanuela, is her name. And if you see that the map on your screen, Africa's most popular YouTubers. In Nigeria, she's number 1. I don't know if you saw what we just showed, the video, but she's number 1. You know, and her age is 10, I think. Can you just go to there's a table. If that table, when you see it, I'm sure it is not, it's not showing properly there, but something's happening to my. You will see Nigeria there, the category, and the thousands of dollars that is attached to her name there. So that mansion she has promised her mom, she will build it. And it has nothing to do with whether you say amen or not. As long as she's still doing what she's doing there and earning that money from YouTube, she will build that mansion. There is no doubt about that. I know that some of us here have, can you go back? Some of us here have YouTube channels. So that is your competition. So the question you can put down now is, what have I done with my YouTube channel? What am I doing with my YouTube channel? If you look at the left of this table, you would see the various categories of what are posted on YouTube. Comedy, beauty and style, people and blogs, education, how-to, news, you know, where you play in that region. Music, kids, gaming, technology, nature, sports. Those are content. So what I'm going to put down, what I'm going to ask you to begin to think, no, let's go to the next slide, please. Let me ask a question, which I have people here who are publishers and editors and all that. Is there anyone who published anything at all about this young lady in your medium? About that feat of ours? Is there anyone? Yes. Okay. Let's just talk about it. What was it that you published? Somebody can answer from here. And I can't see let's see the participants. Maybe there's somebody who wants to talk.
Basically, reports of the handover
basically report of the handover.
Beyond that.
Okay. The question that needed answer is how was she able to do it? That is partly what BBC answered. We always leave those things to BBC Pidgin, BBC Yoruba, BBC Igbo. Please note it down. We have left our turf to those people. We are the primary providers. This is our turf. You know, this is our turf. So I've also now gone ahead to show you how a young girl of our age would want to know how was she able to do it in a country where people are doing yahoo and all that. What did she do? What kind of money does she make every minute? Because you can actually divide that the amount of money by 365 days, by 24 hours, by all that. By the time you say that this girl makes $1,000 a minute, it begins to challenge a 10-year-old who has some talent somewhere. We need to do more of that. We need to do more of those things. So yes, we've seen that that is the breaking news, and it is dead as soon as it was broken. So the next stage is, how did she make that money? Because there's a young girl somewhere in Agege, in Oyibo local government, who probably saw that video and asked that question. How did she do it? How? Then she begins, that young girl, that 10-year-old, Joe Biden had always said he wanted to be president of the United States of America. We need to, connect with our people. We are doing less and less and less of that every day. Connecting with the people is a people first thing. That is what our business is about. People first. I've had all sort of web first, digital first. It is about the people. Yeah, let's go on. In 2014, that was my first, the launch of the journalism clinic and everything journalism. We had this, what we call functional social networking for journalists. I don't know how many of you here were there at UBA, sponsored by UBA Group. Thanks to UBA, and they've done a lot for us. Airtel and all those others, Nigeria LNG. I hope I won't pay for the advert there. This is what I said in 2014. I said my next crusade will be to get Nigerian journalists to get less obsessed with government officials and do reporting that is people-centric. And I gave examples of some of our IT guys then, Emeka Okoye, who was the earliest innovator in this country on banking software. And I said to them, you will never see a story on a cover magazine. Meanwhile, Time, Newsweek, they will put Bill Gates on their cover. They can put it 10 times. Because those guys have done something that is unique. And we have quite a number of guys doing unique things here that we are not writing about. We are not showing example. We are obsessed. We are too obsessed with one governor this or governor that. It is about the people. People, we need to give people information they can use every minute. They are looking for it. The alternative to Lagos mainland bridge when it is closed. 10 things, 10 alternatives. We are doing less and less of that, and we are disconnected with our people. If you are disconnected with the people who need your services, you are not going to make money. You will be scrounging for money. I see a lot of publications who, top 5. I know that they are making less and less of the money they should be making. I hope that as we go along, I can bring out some of these things. Please, let's go on. You will see this about how they make money. It's, when you get your presentation, you please go ahead and read it. So today I want to begin to tell you that forget about being editor, this or that. You are content creators. So if you like designation, you call yourself Chief Content Officer, Chief Content, Chief Creative Content. You are content providers. Because by the time you begin to think in terms of content, then you will know that gaming, if you look at the Alexa ranking, you will see sure bet they are ahead of all of us. Because there are audiences. When we were growing up, Daily Times, I worked in Daily Times of Nigeria, and they had various platforms. Let me use that word. Sporting Record. Times International. They all were serving purposes. I worked on Evening Times. And how was Evening Times created? Alhaji just saw that when people were coming back from work inside Hold Up, there was nothing for them to do. In the evening, we are inside Molwes. That's how Evening Times was created. And it was boom. I mean, they didn't have to give them too much money. They were making the money. So by the time you begin to see all the things you do in terms of content, in terms of what makes that content tick, by the time you begin to think as marketing officers, product marketing, then you begin to create products, that will fit into whatever your mission or whatever your vision is. You need to develop products. I know that at some point, The Guardian, you have to give that to Mr. Kusa, and he began to do segmentation, Compu Live, and all those kind of things. Those are products. So by the time you begin to look at those things as products, then you will do everything that is necessary to make that product resonate with the public. That means you have to do research. You have to do all of that and now create product. So begin to look at all those things that are in your paper, TV, or whatever as products that need research, developing, that respond to people's needs. It is about people. What do they need? And then you respond. You create products. So today I'm saying, Steve, you are Chief Content Officer. Vicky, President. Because that thing in our head that we are editors, a reporter is coming, then you begin to process the words and all that. In fact, when I train your reporters and journalists, I tell them, look, forget about you being a print journalist. Forget it. Forget about being the broadcast journalist. Forget it. You are telling stories. We are all storytellers and using different techniques and distributing them, the stories that we are gathering, on different platforms. I believe I'm making some sense. Let's go on. So, all of that theme that you have put together, the end is that you want to survive. The end is that you have to be the fittest to survive. The means to that end is that you have to create. Creation in the beginning, you have to create. You have to assume the position of a creator. And that means that you are going to be innovating, you are going to do everything. You are going to begin to think differently. You have to challenge yourselves. You have to create. You are creators, like that young lady. And all of those people who are making so much money on YouTube. That is your competition. And they are making so much money. You also have YouTube channels. And nothing, you now see that, why am I not making money? Because you are not creating, you are just dumping things on those platforms. It has to be created. create engaging, compelling, impactful content. 1, 2, I always like people to say things in 5 or 6 words. That's what I've just done. That is your mission going forward. Creating engaging, compelling content. If I have to put in parentheses, that meets your audience's needs, that bring impact. The New York Times declared 2018 as the year of living better. New York Times. You can't beat the New York Times. If you can't beat them, you join them. You find out how they are doing things. In 2018, they declared the year of living better. Creating, again, that word, monthly guides for improving aspects of their readers' lives. It's about people. It is about people. Because they discovered, they found out, they did research, that their readers have a constant thirst for self-improvement. So one thing led to the other. They found out, they discovered that their people need something. So they created smart living. Next slide. That is what they created. How to be good. How to. If you go to New York Times, just Google New York Times, go and find out smarter living. That's what they call it. It's been these are content that people will be willing to pay for because they are guides. Our people need to be held firmly by the hand. We are not doing a lot of that. That is why it has nothing to do with pandemic. It is that before pandemic, we have left undone things that we should be doing. How to live, how to be good. Skip that. That is one of the, when you get it, please watch. That's one of the money makers on YouTube. Humans of New York, photographer, photojournalist, just take photograph of people and let them talk. The homeless, the man who is marrying, I know that a lot of you, it's about stories. We are storytellers. It started just like that, going through New York and then getting people to tell their stories. Yeah, please go on. There's a book. I have the book. So he has, from what he has done, I can be sure that New York Times at some point will put together that how-to things, the smarter living, in a book, if they have not done that already. Or put up a documentary, if they have not done that already. Those are distribution channels. We have all of those things. Please go back to that New York Times thing. Each time you open a New York Times, the previous thing, at the right-hand corner, you will see, go on, just keep going. You will see that thing I've done there is play the crossword. So there is something for you to do when you are online there, for you who have crossword. There was a time that Vanguard had a crossword at the back page, and some people, that's where my female journalist or friend of mine, Tam Fiofori, that's all he was reading. They have put it online. So many things. So in this slide, I've said you create, you digitize, and you monetize. It's money on the ground. That's it's on the right there. Just go to the cart, just pay, cash out, check out. And we have platforms in Nigeria. Don't even go to all those that you can negotiate with. put your stuff on and you get your money up front. We are losing so much money because we are not monetizing our content. In fact, the content has to be the one to be paid for anyway. And because we just begin to do all sort of cloning work, we are just cloning one another, we do not have what I would call brand advantages. So, create your content, digitize it, monetize it, collect your money up front. Don't waste time. In fact, the people who the content, unless they pay, they won't be able to access it. But is that your content one that will not be found elsewhere? Is that your content made to respond to people's needs? Those are the questions you begin to ask yourself. Fuck with that magic right now. Begin to question everything. These things that I've been doing since 10 years that has not produced anything. Why? Ask why. We talked about impact somewhere there. There's a young man called Aproko Doctor. I saw, it took its time, Years later, when I started Aproko Doctor, some of my colleagues, who are doctors, said I was wasting my time. Years later, I have impacted. Who are you impacting? Whose life are you changing? They don't care about you, really, if you don't care about them. It's a quid pro quo thing. Don't allow anyone talk down on your dreams. Years later, I've impacted hundreds of thousands of people, signed deals with multinational organizations. It's your competition. What is it doing? Providing health solutions in a creative way. I know you have 8 pages, but your people will go to seminars and all that and dump all of those words on your pages. It is rubbish. I'm not going to spare, I'm going to say it as it is. We are doing rubbish. There's no connection. When there is no connection, there will be no money to be made. There is no connection. You don't need to know everything before you start. All I had was my mirror in my room, then imagining I was talking on TV. It was the TV box idea. It wasn't clear at first what I wanted to do, but I knew it was going to be huge. Next slide. I'm surprised that I can read from here. Steve, you say you can't read from afar. I started again, removed my eyes from the likes and comments. Those were important, but not so important at that moment. I needed to believe in what I was doing, changing lives in my small way. That is his mission. Changing lives, he wants to have impact. It doesn't matter how valuable what you have is, you have to learn how to sell it. I talked about marketing. So even if you have the best content, you don't know where to place it, you don't even know who wants the content. You are wasting your time. It wasn't easy, and we are not there yet. Preventing disease using media and helping. I'm going to repeat that. It wasn't easy, and we are not there yet. Preventing disease using media and helping. Your consumers, your audiences, they need your help. That was what New York Times did with Smarter Living, providing guides, how to. So when you look at your content, we'll get there. You can now break it down to a lot of modules. The how to, The how to is one of them. How to. Helping Nigeria reduce the disease burden using behavioral modification has always been the goal. So he has a mission. The content has an objective. Most of what we do, we just, you just slam it there. And you begin to wonder, why am I not selling? Because there is no objective. I have had support. I will still get some more. You can see the confidence. Because he knows what he's doing is impactful. Is making impact. Is changing lives in a small way. But if you are reading this and you have a dream, always do you. Am I still making some sense? Let's go to the next slide, please. Now he has a YouTube channel where he does all of this. Let's see if we can play this, at least for a bit.
I hope this fits though. Obunigwe.
That's a young man. Yes.
Don't let him lie to you. If he can fit on a pawpaw, he can fit on anything. All those people that used to lie that my size is not in the market. Yo, guy, your size is in the market, I beg.
From writing.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Aproko Clinic, where your health is my business. And as usual, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for subscribing, liking, commenting, sending this video to people you really care about. And if you haven't subscribed and this is your first time, Kilo Shele, what's going on? This is your Shakara, subscribe, we're waiting for you. Today we'll be discussing 10 ways to prevent pregnancy. Count it. Because now everybody's talking about sex. At the end of the day, when you have sex, one thing will come out of it. And it's what? It's belle.
Wait. Oh Lord, my chest.
According to Simi, Duduke. Condoms. There are two kinds, the male and the female condom. What do? They simply prevent sperm from getting to the womb. When used properly, male condoms can prevent pregnancies 95% of the time. But in real life use, let's just give it 85%, because some of you use your teeth to open condom. The day you become a father without planning it, you will know what I'm talking about.
Babe, you serious?
Yeah.
Where did you get this from? Did you borrow somebody's pregnancy test?
Side effects, man, some people have latex allergies. Number 2, cervical cap. Small cup like this goes and block the main entrance of the womb itself. Sometimes it can contain, things that kill sperm. They call them spermicides. How effective? 80%. Number 3, implants. It is as big as a... I know you expected something big. It's just as big as a matchstick. And they'll implant it on the inner side of your arm. How does it work? It simply prevents your factory of eggs from releasing eggs when it should, and makes the sperm it's very difficult for it to swim. How effective? Up to 99% for up to 5 years. But there are some side effects. Some of you can make your period do like NEPA, off and on. Some of you gain weight. Some people, just get bloated. Some people don't have periods at all. Some people, their period will come. So there are lots of side effects. You will need to discuss with your doctor if you can deal or cannot deal. The next one, copper IUD. The IUD stands for intrauterine device. Many times it's made of copper. How does it work? You simply go inside the womb and take up space like this, preventing the sperm from reaching the egg. How effective? 99%, sometimes for up to 10 years. 10. Side effects. Sometimes it can cause cramps. Some people it can cause spotting. Other times it can lose.
What?
Yes. can misplace. You know, your gynecologists have to start looking for how to bring it out. I've seen it happen. So let's pause for a bit and head to the streets to find out what my fellow Nigerians know about contraception. As we're doing that, don't forget to give us a like and, Oga, Madam, subscribe. All this thing you're learning for. Oga, subscribe.
So this is creating content that is alive. You know, that's the New York Times Thompson, editor-in-chief. The question then is fundamentally about willingness to pay, about the so essentially what he's saying that here is that there must be value. It must be value driven. You know, we must be able to do stuff, content that people want to pay for. And yes, go on, please. Yeah, I think I ought to have, when I'm sending this, I'll remove it. This is the, So let's watch this. Let's quickly watch it. This is I think this is the last video. Not the last slide, that's the last video.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you a very small story. But before I begin that story, I want to remind you, my last name, among the Igbo people of Nigeria, means somebody that talks too much. But I will not talk too much. I grew up from a family that did a lot of agriculture. As a kid, I hated agriculture. I wanted to be a journalist because we never had a television. So I listened to radio. In this picture, this is Mr. Jonathan Isiguzo. We call him Joe the farmer. Joe used to be very poor. Joe was not poor because he was not hardworking in the field. Joe was poor because he used to be part of 90 million Nigerian small farmers who never had access to information that will improve existing knowledge. Because if you go to Joe's village, there is no electricity. Joe never had a television. And in fact, all these fancy phones, Joe has never seen it before. Chineke me. The only thing Joe had was this simple battery-operated transistor radio. But for over 20 years, Joe received irrelevant political propaganda that never added value to his livelihood. I created a radio station. I built a small community radio station, today known as the Smallholder Farmers Rural Radio. And this radio station designs and broadcasts agriculture, environment, and market information, reaching Joe and 250,000 small farmer listeners 10 hours a day in Igbo language, enabling them to decide what to produce, how to produce, when to produce, for whom to produce. And, you know, the information we gave to Joe we source from multiple sources, research institutions, universities, NGOs. Myself and my staff will refine it to make sure it is timely, relevant, and well adapted. And if you know the Igbo people well, this is the place I like. We sell a little airtime and make more money. And just using a simple 50 watts transmitter and a 100-feet tower, we broadcast. And what Joe did was simple. Tune in to 98.0, listening and learning. We go back on field. We are not done with him. Over the past 5 years, Joe have improved his crop yield by 45%. And that has translated into an increase in household income of 30%, Meanwhile, Joe has 3 wives and 12 children. But, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you that information is powerful. Information opens the mind and motivates the quest for results. An informed person will make a better choice more than an uninformed person. Education is the key to development. Ndewono, thank you.
I want you to keep watching that video. So many nuggets, value, create, information plus. It's not just information. You know, agriculture, we are talking about agriculture now. And what value are we adding? We have a manufacturer in this room. You know, what value are we? People, it's about value. It is about value. He said before then, it was receiving irrelevant propaganda. And now he has put in their hands, those farmers, information that they can use. And you can see the impact. Sorry, I don't know what I've done. Just 1 second, please. Hello? Yeah? Okay. I need to do something here first. To shut this. Thank you. So in the next slides, 1, 2, 3, 4 slides, it is about what are you offering in exchange for the loyalty of your consumers. You know, you can see that I am using marketing terms, consumers, create, product, development. If you don't begin to look at what you are doing in those terms, you will still be looking at yourself as editor, you know, rewrite editor, you know, editing with red biro. I have a few friends. Anything you give to them, they will bring out their biro and they are ready. If you begin to look at yourself as creators, as, you know, product marketers, you know, I'm sure Catherine would do a master class for you guys. She does some fantastic work on Facebook on our products. So there must be something in return, you know, unlimited access to stuff on your platform. Please go on. Let's just the next slide, please. It's the same thing here. The next slide with what are you giving? You know, when you see the documents. This is New York Times again. They have a games, New York Times games. Your subscription would take you to all those games. Those people play games and all those kind of things, video games and all that. Next slide, please. You know, the headlines you have always trusted. There's something, there's a product benefit, if you like, you know, the value proposition, you know. So if you're not thinking in terms of value proposition, in terms of creating, in terms of benefits, and all of this thing that I'm saying here will just be passing, you know. So if you have to take a short course in marketing, product marketing, it will be helpful, you know, because it is, and you can get that on any of these short courses. I think Google also has some kind of digital courses. Yes, go on, please. You know, it's the same thing. When you see it, you see that there is something that you need to do in exchange for the relationship you are going to get. Yes, go on, please. So, I'm sure you have seen Obasanjo bombs Buhari again. That word bombs, I'm sure if somebody does a content analysis of our publications, that word is all there. We need fresh air. We need fresh air. We need to begin to declichatize our brains. Our brains are full of cliches, and it is affecting our morning. I just switch off when I see these things. Go on, yeah. I want to show you some covers of the, when Joe Biden was projected to win. Jubilation. We did these things now. We did these things. Let's return to them. In this same Nigeria, we've had headlines that says Akintola Taku, just like Trump is Takuin now. We've done it. We've had fun. It is fun. Look at the graphics there. Hello, Mr. President, and in his hand is 46. We need, let's stop bombing one another. You have all those, I have a collection. If I can do a book on all of those, words that should not never be used again on our headlines and stuff. Yes, go on, please. So, going forward now, I've always said that after we've used an example of the news has broken, people are beginning to ask questions. There are all sorts of techniques, timeline, and timeline is just a diary. On so date, this is what this man said. We've had some sexy terms now, timeline. Let's use them. Because we are providing information plus. Timeline from denial to blame game, the army in Lagos, hanky-panky on Lagos shooting. And all you can do, 24 February, just beautiful, as different from his said he, and all those kind of, he pointed out and all that. Those are the things, those are the magnetic pulls, that we must use. And they keep changing every day. But we have not even used them well enough. Next. AP has an AP explain desk. People want explanation about things. What does it mean? When they say it's 90%, 99% effective, what does it mean? I'm sure you have asked yourself, what does it mean? Your consumers are asking that same question, but you are not providing the answers. So they move on to something else. They find the next available booker to go and spend their time. So AP created a desk, for explanations. An explanation is okay. We've done essays in secondary school. Explain what happened. Or you went out, you didn't tell your old man, you come back, you say, young man, explain where you are coming from. Those simple things. Explainers, exercising curiosity. This Kule Fala is a BBC journalist who was in Punch. And he says, when he saw this photograph, his eyes went to the photograph of the guy who was killed by the speaker's. Yes, that's the guy, the picture, as a small boy. That was what caught that reporter's attention. And what did he say? Hopefully, one of our colleagues who tagged along would use a photo like this to do who was Ifeanyi as chief content offices, you are looking out for those things to tell your reporters. That I saw it. That means that it was a young boy. Who was he? A short bow. I keep telling people that if, let's say, God forbid, one of our top guys died today, the obituary will be in New York Times first. Because they have kept those things in their file. When I used to work in Newsweek in 1988, and we had obituaries of, stored, canned. So the thing happens within the next, and in fact, there was no digital thing then. Now we have people who are waiting. We are waiting, news is happening like crazy. So who brings it out first? So you are not going to library, it's already there, so you are just updating. His last meeting was X hours ago. We have done those things before. We just need to begin to redo them more aggressively, more creatively, using techniques, using apps, and all of that. In fact, as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at that photo, if I want to do it, I can sit down in their house and collect photos of him growing up. So we have a metamorphosis. So I'm not going to write anything. So I just do a gallery, a gallery of the guy, if they have it. That would be a scoop for me. I would just say, nah, please help. I will return it. Let me scan it. So I will not say, I will just use photos. So it will be a montage, a collage. All of these things are possible. We've been doing them. We need to begin to redo them more aggressively, more creatively, and I believe the results will be rewarding. I believe so. Because privately, I've done some of these things, and I know they are rewarding. Yes, please go to the next slide. Sorry. Takeaways. So the GDP report has been, this is what we learned quickly, takeaways from this report. So instead of, you can do all sorts from that report, table, pie chart, all of those things, comparative analysis and all of those things. In those days, when budget was released, Rashid Badamosi or whoever, and Shonikon would be the one to do all the breakdown and all of that. You don't have to have them on your team. Have a reservoir of specialists, that you can call 1 a.m. This thing has happened. Give me 300 words. You already have some kind of fees that you are paying. It will be different from the rest. The challenge for each one of you is that you are competing among yourselves. So you must have something that will give you the edge, right? Yeah, go on, please. I'm sure we are running. The real story on News in Nigeria latest third quarter GDP is not that the economy has entered into recession. That's both in Omofai, but the gentle recovery. So somebody saw beyond recession. What are you saying beyond what every person will write about? What are you saying? You have to be deliberately see them, to set you apart, But the gentle recovery and corrections in some sectors. So what he's saying is that recession, yes, but what is happening in between? Some sectors as the lockdown reopening starts to take root. And in the thread, he gave examples. Yeah, go on, please. This girl, Yemi Said-Goke, also works in BBC. And she says, so I was looking for info on the various SARS protests. I can't see properly, but I think it's there. Let me read it from my own. what she has just done is that there are missing links. You know, it wants a place, just one place where you can, you know, you can get information. Just one place, an umbrella place, and they created it. You know, help me. So one of the things that you have to also begin to do is what I call curatorial journalism. You have to curate. Everything is in the public domain. You know, so you bring them together for the benefits of your consumer and audiences. Yeah? Yeah. Go on, please, quickly, so that we can get. What are you recommending? You know, what are you recommending? Recommendation is one of the things that we have talked about how to, you know, recommendation. What are you recommending? You know, my shaver got, there was a problem with it. If I go online, if I go to your site, you know, I'm looking for the person who can repair my whatever, and they are there. What are you recommending? Recommendation is one of the things that you can begin to turn all the, you know, all the news that you are gathering. You know, it includes data, recommendation. Yes, go on. We are also being lazy. Somebody goes and interviews somebody, and then the person will tell you, go and find out from so. We never find out. We just slam the interview. Interviews are a means to an end. They are not the end. In this particular one, the lady says something about the protest, something. The reporter didn't bother. You just slam, you know, just slam the thing, move to the next interview. That's stupid. But we do it. You know, we do it, and we just go to the next interview. Next, please. In this is a podcast. When Mr. Taiwo Alimi was heading Lagos Television, he will run a big interview next to at 9 o'clock when NTA is doing whatever. Interview Ojukwu, interview Awo, interview all that. Within the next few hours, he will also run a transcript. So it's 2 for 1. I don't know if anybody noticed. Transcript is also something that is cacheable. Transcript. You know, so you go and do an interview or you do something. There are people who don't want to listen. They just want to read. So you are given audio, you are given transcripts. Indeed, you can also even illustrate the transcript. So you have to think of products, and the digital world allows you to do a lot of these things because there are apps, free apps for that matter, you know, that you can use. We followed one. Sterling Bank says, is it Sterling? One bank, one something. So, yes, we followed one Trump supporter from election. You know, so it takes, let everybody be doing all of this. We are going to follow Victoria from, you know, we have done it before. I'm just reminding us a few things that we have done that we need to begin to redo energetically and with some kind of gusto and all sort of techniques that can be added. One Trump supporter from elation to resignation. One. So he picks out one person, you know. I went to a media establishment some time ago, and I saw on their wall some fantastic photographs of Fela and all those kind of things. And my head was like, This is waste of money. This wall, if you don't come there. So, look at that, New York Times Photo Archives. We have done some fantastic photos that are stuck with our photographers. They don't even know how to. One photographer called me the other day. I said, do you have your photos in an archive, digital archive? He was asking me. I know that we practice this thing about putting one photo on the front page and collecting money, immediate reward, delayed gratification. Begin to look at all the photos, all the exclusive photographs that you have done, that you archive them, digitize them, put on thumbprints. It is for sale. It is money. It is not money on the wall to show visitors to your reception. Photo archives. The problem we have is that photography in our newsroom today is afterthought. They don't even attend meetings with us. So, and it should not be so. So the photographer is relegated. Photography is in some media, you put a photograph on the front page and it tells a story of its own. Those are the kind of photos that can be sold. Not where Vicky is shaking somebody and then they are looking, somebody will stand in the middle and, and we collect 1 million or something and then we think we are making money. It's rubbish. Just take, go on. Those two people you are seeing there are the couple behind the vaccine. They are Muslim. So the medium that is publishing this is called Islamic City. We run away from angles. So they took their own angle. They are Muslims, Turkish immigrants, they are Muslims. So that newspaper, which is which has a Muslim audience, they celebrated it. They celebrated it. That is angle. That is perspective. We run away from angles that can. We don't care about our audiences, really, largely. So Muslim scientists behind, because it's an Islamic medium. They could just have said Turkish immigrant couple, and this is also an angle, insurance firms. So when everybody was, this is an nairametrics. When everybody is talking about woodlums and all those kind of things, they look for an angle, that their medium allows. Insurance firms brace up for claims. So within the EndSARS protest, there are so many angles depending on what your medium, on what your medium is. If you can also be just about photography and all of that. It can be videos online. Yes, go on, please. I keep seeing on our online places polls, online polls. But we don't do anything about it. We just put the polls, the results, we don't do anything. We don't take it from there. So I'm wondering what the Father Christmas is going on. Let's fuck with the magic. So the result of this poll is out, but there's no story that goes with it. So why do it? Because some people will not know about the poll. So why don't you just put somebody to be responsible? The poll has ended. What did the poll say? Don't just publish online polls for publishing's sake. That is content that is not being exposed. What is this? People are asking, what does it mean? What does it mean? Let me just look at it here. Wales will go into a fire break lockdown from Friday to try to stem rising. So what is a fire break? There are people asking. It is our duty as content officers to break it down. We don't. We don't. So we need to engage with our reporters, with our whatever you call them, to begin to think. It's critical thinking. To begin to think of what are embedded in those stories. Is there a recommendation embedded in the story that you have brought? Bring it out. Is there can you turn it into a timeline rather than just saying he said, he opined, he did that, he stated, and all of that? Let us begin to do smart work. It is smart work. Yeah? Videos are in it. When you get the presentation, you will see. Let's go to the next slide, please. Are you able to say confidently that you know what will happen next? You can only know from research. You can only know by using all the sources that are available to you. We know what will happen next. That is the busting globe. We know. Do you know? If you do know, go with it. Be confident. We know what will happen next. Next, please. What else is going to happen? Every morning I receive email from New York Times. They give me the what they are covering, what we are covering the next 24 hours. I know a few of our media houses do that online. It has to be done. We need, because there are so many things I have to do in a day. So if by 6 a.m. the newspaper I subscribe to sends me a message to say, these are the things we are covering today. What else is happening? So I prepare myself, to either follow it or not. We need to do it. We need to engage. We need to have email. I just see somebody who sent me one group. I didn't ask for it. You didn't even talk to me. I just see email from somebody that's a newspaper. There's no discussion. They just joined they just add me to a WhatsApp group. What kind of thing is that? And then he expects that I will see it every day. There is no engagement. He's not holding my hand. I have so many things to do in a day. So there's no link. There's a disconnect. We need to connect properly with the people we are dealing with. Yes, please go on. Now, I think if you begin to ask your reporters to pitch to you, then they will have a frame of mind to really, really go deep into what they are working on. You cannot do a story without pitching. The BBC reporters, they will have to pitch. This is the thing I want to do. This is how I want to do it. These are the possible people I want to talk with. So by the time you have that mindset, then they begin to know that it is not just he said. They begin to know that there are things that you're expecting. They begin to, know that this is what the audience is expecting. And then they walk along. So let your journalists pitch to you. Let them pitch, and then you can begin to even do assessments of their work. I think we're about rounding off. I don't know what this is. Next, please. I have a maxim. I try everything. I question everything and then try. If it comes to my head, I will try it. I've done books. I don't know if you've seen How to Be a Good Lagosian, which we did some time ago. I listened to Fashola talked about in his budget of 2010 that we are going to build the infrastructure of the mind. And then my mind went to the rule book in London, A to Z. That was how to be a good logician was created. I created it. I could have just allowed you to, but I must try everything. I must try everything. That's my maxim. And it allows me to expand my horizon as well, to begin to search for things. In the process of searching for things, I can create something that will have impact. Yes. Next. We obsess with vendors. We obsess with advertisers. We do not have regard for our audiences. But without them, there will not be, those are the key people. Because, so in this virtual world now, I am suggesting to you, have town meetings with your readers, with your viewers. Just as we are doing this now, create a Zoom, whatever, and get your audiences to engage with you. Ask them questions. Let them ask you questions. From there, you can create products. You don't need to spend money to go to a hall any longer. But let us obsess with our consumers. The vendors that you buy t-shirts for, that you do jollof rice, buy beer for, it's one, if I look down, has even cut that out. But you know that it doesn't usually work. They just, vendors association, they say if you have not done party for them, they won't carry your paper. But at the end of the day, when you are passing, it's another person's paper that is in front. Obsess with your audiences. They are the key, your keyest stakeholder. And you can do it better now with, find out about their habits. Remember what New York Times did in 2018. It was discovery. They researched. If they didn't research, they wouldn't know that they would have to create that product. So obsess with your consumers and audiences so that you can create content they will engage with. Yep. Try creative use of new technologies. These apps. What it also means is that you have need to employ programmers. You have need to employ data scientists. There are no two ways about it. Because we are now talking of big data, where you can find recommendation, where you can find insights, and they are out there. If you go to Creative Hub in Yaba, sit down with them, tell them your need. They will find something for you. Yes, in Yaba there. That's our Silicon Valley, or whatever they want to call it. This is the time. Because others are doing it and they are making money. Yeah? Next. This interview with Mark Thompson, which I've quoted, which I want you to read it. Read it and read it again, because it talks about how they create products, in many media organizations, the answer to the future lies in the past. And the Times, in an earlier difficult economic period, began to include daily lifestyle sections that were not obviously journalism, real estate, culture, entertainment, food, dining, which started making the case for bigger proposition. The Times wouldn't just tell you what was going on in the world. You had find your next apartment. What are you recommending? Are you the one that, your consumers depend on to tell them that if it is raining in Okokomaiko, don't go and look for a house there? The Times would wouldn't just tell you what was going on in the world. You had find your next assignment through the Times. You had find your job through the Times. You had figure out what to go and see on Broadway through the Times. Are you the one that is the pedestal to the lives and living of your consumers and audiences? I repeat that. Are you the ones that are the pedestal that for better living for your consumers? And you can see what New York Times does. A conveyor belt of improvement and ideas. You know, partly because of the complexity of physical distribution, the most logical way of taking all these little products, you know, was to bundle them up and sell them as a single newspaper. My friends, your money is out there, but it is not in your pockets. It's not in your coffers. I am believing that I have tried to open your minds to your hidden money with some examples. Serendipitously, the Times Company had had some very conservative tax advice, blah, blah, blah. Read the entire interview. You will find a lot of nuggets there. You will find a lot of help. That's why you need programmers to help you do something. Next slide. I will work on the before I send it to you. In 2015, one young man did, I don't know what the stories were, but he now did these things like CD cover labels. Fantastic. You know, this was 2015, using available information. The young man is a programmer. I think he works in one of the radio stations now. You know, next. The same thing. That's Tinubu and the, you know, that kind of thing. That's Desiani, Des Life, you know. And that's me in various and my contact details. Yes. Many thanks. Plenty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another applause for our keynoter, please. You understand there are many people who have raised their hands to ask questions or make comments. We shall return to you, please. But we are going to go back very quickly to our chairman, who's been on standby. We skipped him because we're having technical issues connecting with him. I guess it's on now. As I invite Malam Kabiru Yusuf, chairman of ANEC 2020, to make his remark. Is our chairman on now? Can you find him? Is still there? Okay, please locate him. Locate him so that I can. That's him. Mr. Chairman, your answer.
Okay, I'm very
For your
sorry.
remark. Thank you.
I'm very sorry about all the hitches. So in the end, maybe I'm going to deliver a mid-conference remark rather than an opening one. But I'm very glad to see all of you and to hear at least part of Taiwo's paper, which I was just telling my colleagues in another meeting. I was telling them, I said, well, why do you ask editors to all come back to the office every day? Why don't they file on their WhatsApp group? But this shows you the importance of new ideas and innovation and keeping up with the times. So dear colleagues, I'm happy to join you at your annual event and to just say a few things which reflects my thinking, especially on the situation we're in, the COVID situation, and how it affects the economy, and how in that also respect it affects the media. I think Tayo has given a very good synopsis on the situation and on the need for us to all adapt or die. So what I will say is that looking at the theme of the conference, the media, people, and the COVID-19, my sense is that, like the politicians, we also just talk about the people. We just add the word people. Politicians always talk about people. They are doing it for the people. They are called upon by the people. But I'm not sure that we mean it. When we media people talk about people, and I think the best evidence of that is that we are losing the people. Circulations are down, and it's not just the fault of COVID-19. It is the fault of content. We are not doing the kind of content that suits the people. And the people are voting with their feet or with their pocket. They are not buying papers. It would be shameful for any of us in an outside conference to mention the number of newspapers produced in Nigeria daily by all of us combined. This is a well-known theme and a well-known topic. But why is that? Why do we mention the people like the politicians, but we don't mean it? If you look at the COVID-19 coverage, for example, which is the main theme of the conference, what do we do to cover COVID as reporters, as editors? We go to this very nicely set up conference hall where ministers and Boss Mustafa get up every day, I think, and then tell us what are the figures and what they are doing, the plans they are doing. A lot of it is something that, are not check fact. I mean, we just take it for granted that yes, these are the figures the government is saying of infections. These are the measures they are taking. These are the so-called palliatives. We don't do much reporting of what the people are going through. It's more like the reporting of what the government is doing. And if you look at what we report, in the whole of Africa, for example, there is only about a little over 2 million infections of COVID, which is quite low. And there's a lot of debate and discussion why this is so. Maybe it's our antibodies, maybe it is our weather. But I think there's also an additional factor. We are not testing. These 2 million figures for Africa, a little over 2 million, more than half is from South Africa, which is doing some testing. The rest, a big country like Nigeria, we're reporting figures in a few thousands, which are incredible figures. But that is what we are reporting because we are reporting the government and not the people. If you look at countries of the size of Nigeria, if you look at Brazil, if you look at Indonesia, you find that the figures are more in tune with the worldwide trend of COVID. Even smaller countries, Mexico, Iran, Colombia, Peru, they all have more than 1 million figures. And we want to believe in the myth of some kind of invincibility, or that indeed some of our smart doctors or herbalists have found cures for this virus. So I think that our problem is not just the issue of how technology is overtaking our business. It is how our reporting is something that is above the everyday concerns of people. The Nigerian reporting is more government. I think we are sparing the people bad news because we are not reporting it. We don't go to the testing centers. We don't go to the COVID hospitals. We don't talk to even people who have been infected to know what is the after effect. Today, I saw a very interesting report in our paper, The Daily Trust, where we have a page where we are trying to make up for some of these things I'm saying. The page is on page 3. It's called In Depth, just to show that you have to go beyond the daily reporting, beyond just sitting down and hearing Boss Mustafa mentioning figures. you know, and this report is talking about the effect of coronavirus on young women who are interviewed in Kano, and many of them are saying their period cycle has changed. You know, they are no more seeing the normal period cycle, and some of them are unmarried, and they are worried whether indeed they will be able to bear children. And medical doctors are making research and saying, look, if you have COVID for a long period, the effect on the body, even when you are cured of it, can be very significant on various organs, on other bodily systems. And this comes from reporting. So my worry is that we are so focused on official pronouncements. We don't really look at the reality of the ground. Our content is becoming more official than for the people, and therefore we're losing the people. And it is only once in a while when the people really look at
Okay, that we heard it from our chairman, Malam Kabiru Yusuf. The summary of what he has told us is you either adapt or you die. You adapt to the new normal, adapt to the use of technology, adapt to the new way of creating content that have value, content that impact on the people, content that are sellable, marketable, content that people will look out for and look forward to. It is all about content. And one thing that our keynoter has told us here that is very germane is that we begin to have a shift in our orientation as editors who must edit every script. We are content creators, so we must begin to think in the area of content. What manner of content should we create? Should we push out? That will give us a head start in the competition. It's time now, we still go for question and answers, but I would like for us to go straight to our partners. Some of our partners are out there to take goodwill messages from them. The president of the NUJ, who is also our president, Mazi Chris Isiguzo. I don't know why he's not on red cap today. Mr. Isiguzo, you have the floor for your goodwill message.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I defer to you, the keynoter, Comrade Taiwo Obe, for that wonderful presentation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to, on behalf of the entire membership of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, felicitate with you on your 16th All Nigeria Editors Conference. I want to also salute your courage in putting this event together, despite the obvious challenge that has plagued the media industry and indeed all other sectors, the COVID-19 pandemic. The fact that this event is taking place via virtual platform speaks volumes of the prevailing situation staring us in the face. The theme of this year's conference, Media, People and COVID-19, How to Create Sustainability in the Digital Era, has indeed come at a most auspicious time. This health challenge is impacting the world in unimaginable ways. Many businesses have halted Operations. COVID-19's destabilization of economies means many businesses may suspend or cut down on advertisement. Funding support from donors for specific activities may also dwindle, and this has potential to impact negatively on the sustainability of media organizations. Media sustainability has always been a global challenge, not just peculiar to us here in Nigeria. A number of media houses have laid off some of their workers, while many are presently grappling with raising enough revenue to cover operational costs, even before the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. The impact of the virus on an already struggling media industry has led to some media houses pleading for relief. With their crucial role of education and information dissemination, particularly during the COVID-19 crisis, media platforms must take more strategic steps to ensure they remain afloat until at least this turbulent time gives way. Already on the platform of the Nigeria Press Organization, we are presently interfacing with government on how to assist the media industry in the country grapple with this challenge. We are hopeful that something more meaningful will come out of this ongoing engagement. Once more, I want to express our profound appreciation to the leadership of the Nigeria Guild of Editors for getting us on board this meeting. And I wish you a successful outing. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Mr. Chris Isiguzo, President, Nigerian Union of Journalists. He's our president too. Next, we are going to take goodwill messages from some of our partners. It's my pleasure to call on Mr. Charles Aibe for Fidelity Bank. Mr. Charles Aibe, Fidelity Bank. Yes, that's Charles. Charles, you're welcome. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, editors of the Nigerian media. I wear two hats on this occasion. I'm Divisional Head, Brand and Communications, Fidelity Bank, and I'm also the President of the Association of Marketing and Communication Professionals in the Nigerian banking industry, that is ACAM. We bring you good tidings from Fidelity Bank and also on behalf of the industry. I want to thank the leadership of the Nigerian Guild of Editors for again sustaining the annual conference and creating this opportunity and platform for us to be able to again connect with editors across the country. The theme for the conference, like the last speaker had said, could not have come at a better time. Media, people, and COVID-19. Communication is at the heart of of all of this, and as practitioners, it is important that we looked at it and we took it with the responsibility that has been spoken about and that we expect. The speaker for today is somebody that is also quite known to us. We have partnered with him as part of contributions to the industry in an initiative that was aimed at training about 100 journalists on the new ways of storytelling. And some of the things that he spoke about this morning were some of the things that form the faculty for those training. As expected, Mr. Taiwo Obe's presentations are usually very thought-provoking, and we believe that as editors, as we go back to our respective media houses, some of the things that he talked about, and even a lot more that will come out of the deliberations that we would have, would help to increase or help to grow how we
tell stories. I don't want to go into the impact of COVID-19 on all spheres of human endeavor, but the outcome of it is that as we go forward, the economy is in a recession now. Brands will continue to look for ways to be able to connect with their consumers, and it is those publications, those media houses that are able to create compelling content that the advertising revenues that help to support the media industries would go into. I know that, yes, this is the conference. This is to jumpstart the conversations that we need to have with regards to how the media responds to the changing realities in today's environment. I wish the conference a fruitful deliberations, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the summaries of the outcome of today's engagement. Thank you, and have a wonderful conference.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much. That's from Fidelity Bank, one of our partners. And we go next to another partner, the United Bank for Africa. And Mr. Nasir Olarewaju is waiting for us. Nasir of UBA will give his goodwill message in 2 minutes.
I need to, yeah. Good afternoon, and is it afternoon? Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. And I'm extremely delighted to be part of this conference. And on behalf of United Bank for Africa, we wish the organizers, those who are present, those who are watching from various platforms, a very, very fruitful deliberation. And I want to thank Ayobe because he did a sort of a soft marketing for us. This is a man that we've known for quite a very long time. He's an erudite scholar, not to say journalist again, because I don't think, I'm not sure the last time that man has entered the newsroom. But however, he's been a very wonderful person. And most times I go to him or we come to share some of the views we see in today's media. And I'm not surprised by what he had just said in his presentations. It's some of those things he shared with some of us privately and publicly. And I also want to thank him for his sweet and good words on our bank. And as you know, United Bank for Africa is a good friend of journalism and media practice, and will continue to support discussions, engagements that will better result, or that will result into a better value for everybody. Now, I want to quickly add something, and this is not a joke, and I think I've shared this with today some time ago. I said that if you want to keep your money away from your children, put it inside a newspaper and drop it on the table. You can be assured that in another 2, 3, 5 days, your money will still be there because nobody will touch that newspaper, especially your children. And it is an extremely dangerous trend. We that grew up to know newspapers as source of information and education, you guys, or the media industry, are gradually losing us. But unfortunately, there is no deliberate effort to cultivate young people in the society. Our young guys are no longer reading newspapers. And I think if you want to test this simple analogy, just get a newspaper and drop it on the table when you get home. But they are fond of their telephone. They are fond of their tablets. And that shows the trend in which the new world is going. And like Tude said, it is extremely important for newspapers or any media organization to move with that trend. If not, we are writing our obituaries in a very short while. But I believe that Nigerian media is a very resilient industry. Though it is quite challenged, but I believe that they have the capacity to move it around. But we can only move it around when we strategically think of what is happening in the industry and how best to take it to the next level. And I'm so encouraged by the discussions we've had today. And in the next couple of months, we'll be coming back to the Nigerian Guilds and this association to nominate people for a conference, especially editors, for a conference we are trying to organize on business sustainability of today's media practice. And I believe that all of us will gain from this. A society without a viral media practice, to me, is a dead society. So, my editors, my publishers, and my friends, again, on behalf of United Bank for Africa, we thank you enormously for calling us to say some few words. And we wish that your deliberations would definitely impact the industry. And in a couple of days and a couple of months, we will look back and say that, yes, we had that discussion and the necessary impact is being felt. So again, I wish you a very, very fruitful deliberation. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Nasir, thank you. Thank you very much. Before we go to question and answers and comment session, let me avert our mind toward the chairman who had to sign off on technical grounds. He still sends his message that we should convey this message to all of us, that the second wave of COVID-19 is likely to be on the upsurge during the Harmattan. And as journalists and purveyors of news and information, we should be cognizant of this fact. And at the end of the day, we should go out and report the people as against the routine of reporting government officials. That's his parting shot from our chairman, Madam Kabir Yusuf. We are making progress. Let me also remind us that our chairman had a board meeting today. He had to dash out from that board meeting. He has gone back there now, just to give us this remark, and it's something we must all take to heart. It's a show of his commitment and devotion and dedication to this guild. He has been every part of the way very supportive, very, very supportive. He has been very supportive. I think it deserves an applause from us. Malam Kabir Yusuf, mediapreneur. Maybe we don't give award in the guild, but I suppose someday you have won many awards, but some group of journalists may gather to give you a special award for your commitment to journalism and for being a pathfinder for the rest of us. Thank you very much, sir. Now we move to questions and answers. Can we scout through the audience to see people? If you have a question or comment, please raise your hand. Signify by raising your hand. Yes, scout through. Technical, please go through the audience. The participants. Okay, why not? Yes, please, among the participants, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Or comment. Who is the person doing like this? It's Tony Yari, I guess. If you have a question or comment, please just wave your hand. Raise your hand, please. Raise your hand if you have a question or comment. Arising from the keynote today. You have a question? Our man in blue dress, yes? What's the name? Can't read it. Please unmute that person in blue, or yes? Unmute. Okay, Sheyi Fasuba, please. Mr. Fashuba, unmute your system. We can't still hear you, sir. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Fashuba.
I've done that.
Okay, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Thanks so much. Yes. Let me quickly comment particularly the speaker, and I've also listened to the keynote address from some of our friends and brethren, and I just want to bring up this issue. Yes, I know we are all about this profession, and particularly where we ought to be and where we are. And then I believe the challenges confronting our profession is what has brought us to where we are now. And I'm also admit the fact that the discussion today center on content, and particularly all of us agree we need that to really reestablish ourselves. But again, I want to take us back to even within the society where we are we being assisted to do exactly what the society also expects from us? We are not asking for so much, but in terms of facilities, in terms of what we call it, things that will help us to get to where the expectations are we able to do that? Even from training, even to actual execution of what is expected of us. And these are the challenges confronting us today. I'm taking a look back about 2-3 decades ago. What we are confronted today are not this obvious. And then coupled with the fact that on the most recent experience we had, with the COVID-19, most media houses are challenged. Even those who are still on, they are perhaps running on skeletal basis. So the question to us now, how do we maintain a balance in spite of these challenges and still be able to maintain the quality of content expected of us for us to stay, not only afloat, but be able to command the kind of quality of what people expected from us. I believe we also begin to drive our minds towards this, and more importantly, towards the clients that also assist us in some of these areas, I will surely be better for it. Not only for those of us who are even practicing now, let's also look into the future. What does it portend, particularly for training in journalism? Now, things are moving online. To what extent are we catching up? We are moving gradually to the information age. Are we not being left behind? What are we doing? Even the media houses that are existing now, what is level of commitment to training to catch up with the phase where we are?
Thank you.
I believe we get there, but I think we should also be able to address our minds to that. And I'll be so much interested, even if the speaker can give some hints on this too. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Last one question. We go to Mr. Tony Yari. Tony Yari, please. Tony Yari, you have the floor. If you are still there. Mr. Tony Yari, are you driving?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Taiwo. At least you have tickled quite a lot of our mind, very much. But I would have wanted, because you see, quite a lot of your analysis focus on the New York Times and so on. The New York Times, the mega media. I would have wanted you to at least do your analysis on newspapers that are of some comparative stature with the Nigerian media, because if you look at the newspapers in Nigeria, a lot of them are just some small confines that if you try to completely aggregate the entire Nigerian media together, it's possible that you may not even have one New York Times. So I was expecting, for instance, for you to use some analysis that is particularly close to what we have here. And then I'm also surprised that you never raised any thoughts about what is happening in Asia, because I see why there is a lot of crisis about reading culture falling in the West, Nigeria, and so on and so forth. What I see in Asia is different. You know, I see quite a lot of voluminous reading, you know, in Asia, in spite of all the crises we talk about. And that's why you see papers that are printed in their millions. You know, I mean, you talk about countries like Japan or India and several other countries there. You see papers printed in their millions, and they are gobbed by their people. So I do not know whether reading habits also has something to do with it, because you see, the Japanese read a lot. And what has happened here is that, I mean, in terms of reading culture, there has been some withering. And it's not just here, even in America, you know, and Britain itself. I remember that as at 2009, when the digital process started, almost about 72 papers had problems, you know, in the UK, you know. So I was expecting, you know, you to at least do this kind of analysis so that we can be able to glean, you know, a proper picture in terms of our status. Because one thing that has troubled my mind about the Nigerian environment is that for several years, our papers, you know, they come like that, they bloom, after some time they die. And that's why, look at pre-colonial, the only paper that has survived pre-colonial, pre-independence, is the Tribune. And how much does the Tribune gain in terms of in terms of print run, in terms of every other thing, in terms of even his might, you know? Well, the Daily Times, but where is the Daily Times today? You know? But when you bring a small country like Jamaica, that has the Jamaican Gleaner. The Jamaican Gleaner, as at 1985, was already 126 years old. So by today, the Jamaican Gleaner, if you add it, is almost about 160 years old. Now, a small country like Jamaica, whose population is less than 10 million, is able to have a newspaper that has grown for several years, and Nigeria is unable to do that. What do you adduce to that?
Thank you, Mr. Yari. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much. We go next to Zaradin El Yakub. If you are there, Zaradin El Yakub. You have a question or comment? Zaradin, wherever you are, please, Sorosuke. Zaradin El Yakub. Please go ahead, please. Please, any other person with question or comment, please raise your hand. If you have a question or comment. Dupe Badebo, please. You have Barrister Badebo.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, madam. Please go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Mine is not a question. It's only a short comment. First, I want to appreciate the effort of the organizers for being able to take advantage of this new normal, that at least we are able to get together this year. So I congratulate the president and his team for bringing us together in the new technological way. It's been a very difficult year. I'm glad that we're able to do this. My comments, short again, goes to the last speaker. I actually enjoyed what Mr. Taiwo Obe showed us. Although it may be more of foreign inputs than local. The fact that we used to have in various newsrooms some 2-3 decades ago, what we called house tag, and I do not know how much of it exists anymore, is being able to show some of the things we take for granted in terms of headlining that we do not take seriously anymore. We seem to quickly forget that the so-called social media, even though we have very responsible members, few responsible members amongst them, but because they have been caused into a practice that headlines do not matter anymore. In fact, some of the things you read have no relationship whatsoever with the headlines. And unfortunately, everybody who can pay a little money has access to YouTube, to whatever. So for him to be able to tell us and remind us that stating those things the way he showed some of us, I think is a good refresher. So I thank him for that. I also listened to Malam Kabiru when he said that the page they just opened for in-depth analysis, which must show more stories behind the story about the topic we are dealing with, not just what the government said, he said, he says, he says. Yes, I think we should go back to doing more of that. What he said about the danger of having COVID, which is not just the danger of dying, that even when you are killed, your organs may not function as much or as well as they used to be. I listened about 3 weeks ago to a doctor, a medical practitioner in the US, somewhere online, explaining this, that it is not just trying to avoid dying. It is the fact that even after being killed, living is not as useful or as beautiful as it would be if you had not this sickness. So I think it is important for us to let the public know that it's not just hooray when they are killed, those who have been affected, but the danger of living and not being able to live well with live organs is also as serious. It is a duty that we must perform. We are not taking this COVID thing seriously in Nigeria. In fact, when you wear your mask to certain places, people begin to look at you as if you are falling from Mars. We have a duty to remind people that this thing is still there, it is serious, and it's not about dying alone. It's about not being infected so that we do not remain the living dead. Also, and shortly too, the first commentator said something about the society not supporting us to be able to achieve some of those things that Malam Kabiru stated that we should achieve. Yes, it's always been like that. We have never had the mandate of the society as journalists. It's just that the 2-3 decades ago that he mentioned, things were easier, things were simpler. The economy is not like this, but more and very much more important also is the fact that the competition we had then was not as stiff as what we have now. We do not have all this stiff competition. People relied on newspapers and radio for most of their news, but now we are inundated with many, many, many ways of information. So we also need to go out of our way to be able to catch people and invite people to us. I agree we do not have the support we should have, but also that is why we are journalists. We are stronger and better than the average person. That is why we are journalists. We know that things are tough out there. We want the public to know. We do have a duty to bring it to the public, difficult as things are. I know we attend the same markets. We spend the same money in the same school we put our children, like whoever is in the public. But the truth of the matter is we have taken it upon ourselves to be journalists, and no matter how difficult it is, the difference must show. I recognize the difficulties, but we should rather play down on the difficulties and still play a role of fulfilling our mandate to the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next is Achilles Uchebu. If you are there, please, very quickly, your comment or question. Achilles Uchebu, I saw you raising your hand. Please go ahead. The floor is yours, Achilles. Achilles, go ahead.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I quite appreciate the paper delivered by Taiwo Bay and all the commentaries so far. I quite appreciate the contributions of our friends Nasser Ramon and Charles Aigbe on this platform. It's nice seeing them here. But most importantly, I want to point out that the paper delivered by Taiwo Bay, focused as it is, failed to point out the marriage between content development and the social media menace and the attempts to regulate social media or online media. Because in this challenge, we have newspapers, hard copies as they are, facing the challenge of the reality of COVID. But again, we see the escape into online publications. And what we see as online publications are literally a transference of what you have in the newspapers directly to an online platform. And this comes back to you with a challenge that you have a social media environment that content comes in at a minute basis or second by second basis, and you are not very sure what kind of content you're having and which is authentic and which is not authentic. So in line with this kind of thinking, I was expecting that our base paper should have even taken more of the inferences it made from our local environment to draw attention to the fact that there is need to create content development for online publications and for our newspapers in order to make them survive in this environment. Because, like Ramon pointed out, not many people are buying hard copy newspapers anymore. Not many are buying. People want to read online and get on with what they like and what they want to do with their lives. And basically, when people are reading online, what do they read? First and foremost, you look at the headlines and the first and second paragraphs, and you get on. So I don't see many people staying on online platforms and reading a whole text of about 2,000 or 1,000 words on the online or even on their mobile. But again, somehow the technology you're using affects your site at a level. So I would appreciate that in this kind of discourse, we point out
the man is still. Thank you.
Can I just answer some of this?
Thank you, because I want to come back to Mr. Obi now to give
very well.
Some of these queries raised. Thank you, Mr. Thank you very much.
I'm a member of the Illuminati. First, if you permit me, let me thank Charles Aigbe and Fidelity Bank for what they are doing for journalists. We've had engagement, and thank you, sir, and Polaris Bank as well. And Akim Bello, his birthdays, he has been able to sponsor training of journalists. We need more. We need to keep training, and we'll continue to thank them. Let me start with the last person. If I'm going to do a paper on social media engagements, that would be another 2-3 hours. The context of my content was not, that's a different terrain altogether. And I'm not going to, what I can say is that we who are trained, the lapses on the social media are opportunities for us. You know, we are trained. We are the ones who are trained on the 5 Ws and H, understanding what news is and all of that. So the absence of that on the social media by just citizens are opportunities for us. And that is all I'm going to say about that. That what are the opportunities that the lapses in social media create for those of us who understand what news is, who understand what you need to do to investigate, who understand what you need to verify news. For me, that is opportunity, and we must not allow them. I've seen established media who just take what they find on the news media without doing independent reporting, without fact checking, without all of that. You can't blame people on social media for that. I blame, you are the ones who are trained to ferret news out of stone, But like you said, this is not about online engagement. That's another workshop on its own. And I'm sorry if you have not had anything. That was not the brief I had. I don't want us to be here till 6 p.m. If there's a part 2, then I will prepare for that. Achilles, I hope and what I wanted to also add is that some of our folks just aggregate, stuff without even adding any value. And they claim that they are publishers and all that. You should be holding Koboko and whipping some of those people. They are a disservice to this business. We need to add value. Who next? Tony, yes. Again, I have used the best to illustrate what I've been asked to do, which is how do you connect with the people, using your content. Essentially, all of what I've said here today is about the fact that we have lost the people. We are obsessed with other things apart from our consumers, and that was not how it used to be. I know about the Kimbon and all that, the million. We don't even know what has happened to Okuboku. We don't have we are supposed to know, we are supposed to do the investigation. It was bought by somebody, So if you want to print 500,000 copies of newspaper, as Sunday Times used to do, where is the newsprint anyway? Yomiri Shimbon is doing 2 million and all that. Fine. Sunday Times used to do that, 500,000. I used to go to London every week to go and print This Week magazine. Every week I would go on Wednesday and come back on Sunday. We did a 3-part series on the Pao when he died. The printing press where we did it, I think, is in Wales. I was going to just, I brought the materials from, I covered the Ikene, came back to Lagos, flew that night, and then got to Wales. We had sent some materials, there was no internet then. We had sent some materials ahead. So I just said to myself, let me go and sleep for a bit. And they came to call me that your magazine is ready. That machine, that Time prints there, they print over 1 million copies. How many were we printing? Maybe for that edition, maybe about 250. So it didn't take them, So what I'm saying is that our people are reading. Professor Shoffiso used to do tales, the country. Yes, in the Guardian. And Miami 1, Miami 2, Miami 3. Dr. Stanley Makebu got tired of the series because Makebu was, look, anything you can now write in 800 words, forget it. And when Shoffiso was going to Miami 1, he called him and said, my friend, what is all this that you are doing? They stopped that Miami series. And then there was riots, quote and unquote. People were reading it. Yes, people were reading. And Dr. Makebu regretted it, that he had to stop it. We are not even, we don't get feedback that we are supposed to get. We don't do the surveys, marketing surveys. We don't do the research. We don't ask them what do you like. We just, yeah, okay, I've been doing energy beats, so I have to do an energy magazine. We don't ask the people we want to even report to. I have various examples of those kind of things that we just do so wrongly. What I'm saying to us is, let us be more deliberate about marketing, about research, about connecting with the people, about being obsessed with the people. They are why we exist. And that's what Malan Kabiru said. You know, I can't stop saying it. I've been saying it almost forever. Tony, I hope I've answered that. Pastor Sheyi, I really did not know who you want to assist us. Although Auntie Dupe has tried to answer it, I'm not a mind reader, so I couldn't really figure out what you are talking about. What is important to me is that we are creating products that are of benefits. If your products, if I have 100 naira, I'd rather buy water that will slay my thirst than buy your newspaper. It is about benefits. That is the assistance you are getting from consumption. You know, if you are not giving out things that people want that would enhance their life and living in the next 24 hours, forget it. Forget it. And I'm aware that there are some instances, there are some CBN assistants in those days. I don't know what is happening right now. One of the advertising people said, this is the challenging time now. If you are not giving out what the people want, don't expect to get adverts. You won't get assistance. So let our content resonate with the people. That is the message I came to deliver here. Let us create content that our people will be willing to pay for. That's simple. If that's all you are taking away, then we can continue the rest at some other platform.
Thank you, sir. Let's take more comments and questions from the... Yes, Ahaziah, please. 1 minute, please. Second thought, yeah. Please unmute yourself. Unmute your system. Isaiah, please unmute your system. Unmute yourself. Mr. Suleiman, please unmute your system.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right, now, thank you very much. I want to commend the ESCO of the Guild for bringing this topic. I want to connect with the lead paper presenter. We are guilty of not connecting with our audience. In most cases, we impose on them stories that naturally they wouldn't even like to listen to. And one major problem that we have in all the papers, in all the media organizations, whether radio or TV, just listen to one, you have listened to all. There is no creativity in the way we treat our stories in these days. And we don't go for investigation. And as rightly pointed out for us, we need to connect with the people, give them what they want. And that is why we have fake news. People prefer to go to the social media. People that have not been trained, have not gone through the tutelage of journalism and to report, where there will be fact-checking and cross-checking with sub-editors and editors to cross-check whatever before it is dished out to them. And we lack that completely today. And that is why when you pick one newspaper, you don't need to buy two newspapers. So when you listen to one radio or TV channel, you don't have to listen to other news from other channels. So I want us to really key into what the guest speaker, Mr. Tayobi, thank you so very much. We need to connect with our audience and give them exactly what they want. And we don't do follow-up stories. There are so many things that we do. We report when news break, and we don't follow up to get to the conclusion of that particular story. So we need to also work on that. Thank you very much for bringing up the topic, and we really need to go back to the basics and show the world that social media cannot be relied on, but the conventional media is where we need to go. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Please, let's have more hands up. Can you recognize that person? Can you highlight that person on the left? Martin Azuike. Yes, Mr. Azuike, please. You have the floor. Mr. Azuike, go ahead. Unmute your system, please, and go ahead. Marish. Please, can you just go ahead? Unmute yourself. We don't need to see his face. Let him just hear. Unmute yourself, Mr. Azuike, please. Unmute your system. Your system is on mute. Unmute it, please. No. Check your phone or whatever you're using and unmute. Unmute. Can we have another person? Any hand up? Comments, please. Comments for the floor. Comments, questions. Okay. Can we come in house and take Mr. Steve Mosu? They are just this. Mr. Steve Mosu, you have the floor, please.
Can I? Yeah, it's on. It's on. Yeah, it's all right. Hello, am I on? Thank you, our keynoter. I actually wanted to ask for an expo or do an Oliver Twist. Unfortunately, you shut down Achilles when he tried to raise the issue on social media engagement. Many of us are here, we aggregate material and we don't really even know how to aggregate it better than the social media guy. I give example of the Lekki protests. I was at home, I couldn't afford to go to the venue of the protest, but while I got some stories and stuff happening, there was something I pressed on my phone, and I actually grabbed on real online images of what was happening at Lekki. I didn't take a drone there, it just Google. Many of us, there are some of these tools, I don't know if there are one or two, you can just tell us to assist some people in this engagement, this social media, because we are all very analog still. I don't know if you think it's something you can look at. And then the issue of this doing content, there's also this chicken and egg issue for us. Some people say we don't have funds to go even to in the investigative, so you do the easy way out, which is aggregate, but then aggregate and not going further still won't give you money. So you are still running around in circles. That's just the observation I wanted to make. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my answer to that essentially is whatever you're aggregating, add small salts. There's a colleague of ours. He has a new platform now, and he's telling me he wants to hire this, he wants to hire that. I said, where is the money? So I said, okay, why don't you subscribe to NAN? Yeah? NAN gives all sort of stories. Concentrate on the ones you think your readers are saying. So, add value. Rewrite it. Make it can be okay. A story. Somebody just sent something to me on WhatsApp now about the headline on Maradona. It's in the hands of God. Fantastic. It's just a little thinking. All we need at times is just forget about, just think. And where did the hand of God, I mean, even from my paper, I said survival of the fittest. And I took it from survival of the fittest. So it's just a little thinking. Just challenge yourself a little. So if you are a one-man riot squad, you are sitting in your home and you have your computer is your whatever. Whatever you are aggregating, tweak it. Just tweak it. Take it from another angle. You know, and your life will be at peace because you will not be doing what you have just tweaked the story. And there are so many ways to skin a cat. That's what we are told. So take a story, tweak it, give it another angle, give it a new perspective. You can actually even just run quotes, you know. I have so many ideas of what platforms can be created. It can just be, and Alaji just taught us that long ago. He had headlines, he had sporting records, he had, you know, that were tweaked to meet the needs of audiences, various kinds of audiences. So keep on aggregating. I wouldn't say stop, but tweak. You know, give it a new direction, give it a new angle. You've seen the Islamic city, how they tweak the story of the couple, the Pfizer couple. You say Muslim scientists are behind Pfizer vaccine. It has been tweaked. You cannot fault it. Tweak it. Just, you know, if, I mean, there's a newspaper that says for the betterment of the people. Tweak, you know, take that story, and if there's no betterment, take your GDP report, if it's not going to better the life, that is the angle you are going to take it from. This economy is not working for the people. Add all the evidences. Pam, 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 go and drink your trophy stout. How many people drink trophy stout here? Well, the social media thing is another workshop. If I'm going to be doing tertiary on it, it's waste of everybody's time. We'll find a way, you know, and do something. Yeah? And I have an expert on that as well. His name is Pelua Professor. I try not to, you know, I can do it, but I will have to give it to him to sort out. Because that is what he does. He does social media engagement. I'm a rookie in that. But I understand what you're talking about. We'll find a way. We will do something.
Thank you, Mr. Taiwobe. I want to also say a big shout out to all our fellows out there. Baba Dantier, we can see you from here. I know you are hooked up from Kano. We also have in our midst Professor Abigail Ogwezi Ndisika, our friend, head of Department of Mass Communication, University of Lagos. Madam, you're welcome. Thank you very much for hooking up with us. All other fellows out there, you are welcome and you are recognized. Thank you very much. We take more questions and comments. Maybe two now, more before we round off. Questions, comments, 1 minute, and we'll round off. You have a question, please, your hands up, please. Please recognize that person, Ted. Third person top. Azuwike, please. Okay, the guy is back. Martins, Azuwike, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ken. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Very brief, please.
Okay, let me not waste our time recognizing people. I may not also know all of them individually and by their names, but I have my regards for you all. I want to comment briefly on some of the issues raised by Mr. Obey. I found so many of the issues he raised very interesting. One has to do with his comment on obsession with vendors. And I've always had problem with vendors, not that I hate them, not that I hate their business models or whatever thing, but I know that it's not all the time that vendors can help our business. I have been with a magazine group, and along the line, vendors were coming, you know, the usual rush every time the magazine comes out from the press. They want to collect as many copies as possible, take to their contacts and people who have booked them for supplies and all of that. But at a point, we saw that we had made sales to the tune of 8 million naira. But the harsh reality of that was also that we were looking for money to produce the next edition of the magazine, because all the money we had earned remained with the vendors and virtually only on paper. That's paper money. And then we thought about it. Are we in this business for vendors? How can we make money and we don't feel the money? And these people continue to come and take on credit. So we thought about it. We said we're going to take the last step. We sent our credit control officers to various parts of the state. Some of them came back injured because the people, some of the people, distributors, vendors, and all of that, attacked them verbally, physically. Some came with injuries and they all came back. Some went as far as Sokoto, some went to Calabar in the southeast and all of that. They came back with far less than the money that we spent to send them to those places. So we say no more. Vendors, you come, if you can back whatever number of copies that you're taking with cash, fine.
Bring it to conclusion, please. Thank you.
So we said, now we are going to do subscription. And people discouraged us. They said, oh, subscription doesn't work. A lot of people have tried it and all of that. But we said that's where we're going. And we did try it. We did a number of things. We printed cards. Yes, it cost some money. It cost us some effort and sacrifices here and there. But at the end of the day, that worked for us. And it was like magic. We grew our subscription from 0 level to about 5,000. And each subscriber was 10,000 per annum. And if you multiply that by 5,000, you see how much we have to make up front. So we didn't face the problem of production costs, where are we going to find the money and all of that. But we don't have much time for me to go into the nitty-gritty of what we did.
Please, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Azuike.
We'll be able to do that.
Look at your contribution. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll return to you, Mr. Obey. Then we take
time for other people to comment.
I'm happy for you. I believe that your subscription would not have worked if you did not have benefits that you are, it's about value. If your subscription worked because the product was valuable or whatever, beneficial to your subscribers. So I go back to what I've said: create your product, let it have benefits to your consumers and audience, your what do they call them? Your audiences and communities, and keep trying everything. And if it doesn't work, let's try some other things, but there must be benefits, because people, in fact, it's even about time. People have less and less time for all of the things that are happening in the world. So don't waste people's time. Time also means money. So if I want to subscribe to something, I subscribe to quite a few newspapers in Nigeria, and at least one or two, and because of some benefits I derive. Maybe they are giving me long form reporting. Maybe they are giving me insights. Maybe there's a magazine, one oil and gas magazine. People who subscribe to that magazine, there is one thing that it's about some geological thing and that is, they are okay. They can pay, there are people who are looking for information, and they are ready to pay. Are you the one? I used to bring out NCC subscription. They do this month subscription report or internet subscription, and we have today about 100 and something million. And I keep asking at training this, how many people wake in the morning, to feed from your palm? How many of those 100 and something million people who have access to the internet wake in the morning to say, I'm going to your medium? If they are not, it means that you're not giving them something, and there are so many areas of interest. There are some people, all they want to do, except for those of us who don't have bald head, even for those of us who have bald, like somebody I'm pointing at there now, there are still creams that can, there are so many areas, that we can thrive on. The key word is, how do you thrive? It's about how do you thrive. If you are thriving, you probably do not need any assistance from anybody. Nasir, thank you. Charles, thank you. Whoever else is not here, the Rashid Bolariwa and co. Thank you. Those are the people who have supported journalism through the Journalism Clinic, and I need to thank them. And of course, the Nigerian Guild of Editors. We had the first Media Leaders Summit in Ogiri last year, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors sent, I think, 10 people. So thank you, Nigerian Guild of Editors. We need to keep training. I update my knowledge of this business, which I joined in 1980. That was about 40-something years ago. Every day, I invest my money in books, in whatever, because this is where I am playing. And let me announce it here. We are also planning to set up the journalism house in Igbaroke in Ondo State, and where we will have people come from everywhere in the world to research, to retrain, and to have some refreshing, in the woods there. So at some point, we'll have you in Igbaroke. Anyway, thank you so much. I've been blessed with the interaction. I've taken, the good thing about the job I do is that I also take away things. And so it's not a one way for me. It is, I have also learned one or two things from this exercise. And I'll be glad to do it again, and again and again and again. It's good that this is virtual, and we've had consistently between 70 and 78. That is fantastic. That is really huge. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I'm trying to work on my paper so that I can put it in the system.
Okay.
Right now, in the chat box.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Taiwobe, the resident doctor at the Journalism Clinic. Thank you very much. You always do it well. Now is to give the vote of thanks, and that goes to the chairman, planning committee of this conference. All these gadgets and everything that has happened today. It's the very first time we are doing it virtual. And if I have to score, I will score 80%. On a serious note. That's an alpha grade. Some A1.
You are a hard teacher. 80. Why don't you give them 99 something?
Thank you. Mr. Steve Wosu will give us the vote of thanks. Up chair.
Thank you, my brother, colleague, Ken. I think, like Ken, the keynoter has actually gone a step further to do a vote of thanks, which I'm very grateful for. But I must not forget to thank those who have made this possible, who have supported us either by hooking up or by working from behind the scene. The Honorable Minister, our supervising minister, the governors of Lagos, Rivers, Sokoto, even Enugu, who have kind of given us some kind of support from behind the scene. Many of them couldn't connect because of technology and a few other engagements. I also have to thank our partners. They are all there, the banks, Fidelity, UBA, Access, Trust Fund, NCC, NLNG, and just so many people that we just call at the tap of a button and they will just answer us. Some of them got their letters to this event less than a week ago and they stood up for us. We thank them. We thank all our, even the technical partners who have made this possible. It's a novel idea we are running, Digi Solution, thank you. But like my father-in-law will say, we thank those who cook the food, those who brought the soup and those who brought the fufu, we must also thank those who agreed to eat. And that goes to the members of the guild. You, for investing your time, data, and all for the past 3 hours to be with us, we say a big thank you. And that by next year, hopefully, much as we build on this new normal, that we will have a more interactive, physically more interactive session where all of us can gather. Some of us, we say, blame us at the committee and the ESCO with the president for all the hitches you have experienced. But we must not fail to put on record that the success for this ANEC goes to you members who took out time and invested your time and support for this. As for the keynoter, we are going away with one thing. You told us create content, digitalize it, commercialize it, collect your money up front. I think that is what we should go home with. And thank you for coming, and we will see you again next year. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll start with answer.
Okay, let's try for a national anthem.